as the church censored stories of Jesus' past. Those who dare to read banned Bible stories will learn about Anne. She was a devout woman who was unable to have kids. Yet, through a divine miracle, she would be granted a child called Mary, who would give birth to Jesus. So what can this story teach us about Jesus' grandparents? And why would the church want to keep these details hidden? This story centers on Anne and her husband Joachim. They lived peacefully in Bethlehem, where they were known for their devotion to God. The virtuous couple used their wealth wisely, donating to the less fortunate. But Anne and Joachim were dealing with a private pain. Even though they both wanted children, Anne was barren. Now she was an elderly woman, and it seemed as though her wish to have a baby would never be granted. To make matters worse, the townsfolk had noticed their inability to have kids, believing that Anne was barren because she was cursed by God. Soon these rumors would take their toll on the couple's relationship. As he went to the temple, Joachim had his offering rejected by the priest, who claimed Joachim was childless because he had upset God. This was the final straw for Joachim. Distraught, he went into the desert to fast for 40 days. Each day, he prayed to God to grant him a child. Back in Jerusalem, Anne was equally upset. She called out to God, making a bold promise. If the Lord granted her a baby, she would make sure that her child was his faithful servant. Day after day they prayed, never giving up hope. Eventually, though, their persistence paid off. Angels visited the couple, telling them they would be given a baby. Anne decided to call the child Mary and would follow through on her pledge, raising her daughter to love the Lord. Eventually, Mary would be chosen to deliver Jesus, the Son of God. While this is a heartwarming story, it doesn't appear anywhere in the Bible. So why would the church choose to erase Anne from history? Anne's story appears in the book, the Protoevangelium of James. The book is written by James, Joseph's son, and Jesus' stepbrother, and takes place before the New Testament, providing new details about Mary's past. However, the church found a few major problems with this text. First, it was likely written in the 2nd century, years after the other Gospels were created. To make matters worse, the text was written long after James had died. The writing in the Protoevangelium was also very different from the biblical letters that James created. Faced with these issues, the church decided to deem it heretical, banning the book and censoring the story of Anne. Despite this, the story of Jesus' grandmother hasn't been entirely forgotten. Catholic and Orthodox churches still hold feasts, like the Presentation of Mary, to celebrate Anne and Joachim.